And share my screen so you can see what the presentation is going to be about. And again, as I said, this is going to cover using Expandi and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. If some of you may be familiar with the basic search you can use, you can also use that with Expandi too as well. Just give you a little background about myself. I started my career off as an aerospace engineer. Then after that, worked at a company called Structural Dynamics Research Corporation, which actually happened to be a mechanical engineering company. At the time that I graduated, there were no jobs in the aerospace engineering sector at the time. While I was there, I managed projects. I've managed projects up to 205 in staff up to $5 million in value. And in addition, I've successfully ran a four-lot mobile home park. Did project management and consulting experience is my background. And right now I'm focused on a 65 unit apartment complex that a team that I work with acquired in Charlotte, North Carolina. What's not on here too, as well as I'm also working on getting funding and raising funds for a $120 million project that's ground up construction in Sarasota, Florida as well. So the structure of the presentation is going to take is I'm going to go through and walk you through how you do it using this in Expandi and then in LinkedIn, and then I'm going to give a demo of that too as well. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to create your target avatar. And what I mean by your target avatar, you want to find out the type of person that you're looking to market to. You want to understand the characteristics of those individuals. You want to know what specific industry the professionals in. Are they accredited investors, non-accredited, gender? You can get really deep in doing this if you look at who the target avatar is. I'm not going to go deep into target avatar, but if you I did a search here, if you go in and you search on target avatar and marketing, you'll get several different sources of how to create a target avatar and how to pick out who your ideal customer is. I'm not going to go over that in detail. Is you have to create a search on LinkedIn to start. Remember, I just said you can do that in LinkedIn by paying for the LinkedIn Sales Navigator or using the basic search. I chose to go and use the Sales Navigator because it allows you to get a little bit more granular on what you're looking for as far as people you're targeting. You can pick out states, roles. Last time that they actually were active on LinkedIn is another one that I use too as well. So then after you figure out who your target avatar is, after you've done your search in Sales Navigator, you'll take that URL that's in there, and you'll take that URL and place that into Expandi so you can do a search on it. So again, the target avatar that I use mainly is 40 plus in information technology, C-suite, vice president, directors, founders, co-founders, male or female, and 2 kids, San Francisco. You can't look up kids on LinkedIn, but that's one of the things I was looking at. And the pain points are looking to retire, and they're looking for investment alternatives. And also an apartment and hotel.
Can I keep this in washroom? काम नहीं बोलना है.
No, a second. Let me see if
ये
I
ले
can
orange.
If you wouldn't mind muting it real quick. I can't get to it. To do is create, like I said, create your avatar, and then you do a search on the people that match your target avatar, and you can use the same sort of things that I just talked about. You can also search in LinkedIn groups. So if you're looking for accredited investors, you can look at an accredited investor group, or if you're looking for people who are interested in multifamily, who are in IT,
you're done with that on the
you
map?
can look at that group too as well. 1 second. Let me stop sharing real quick so I can close that down.
Math is from 5 to 6. Is that right? You can go 2 minutes, I guess, but set a timer for 2 minutes. Don't let it go long.
Brian, if you would mind muting yourself.
Did you say mute or unmute?
Mute.
Yeah, okay. I think I was muted.
Okay.
I'll make sure I'm on mute.
Okay. The third thing you'll do is connect with your leads and that you and your safe search criteria. And one of the things you'll be able to see when I get to show you the demo is when you look in Expandi, there's a thing called portfolio settings, and you can set how many people you're going to reach out to in each one of the different categories, whether you're doing a DM message to them or if you're doing an email to them, you can set the limits on that too as well. One of the things you want to remember when you're working with connection requests to meet people is you can only have 100 per week max on LinkedIn. But one of the things that Expandi offers, and I'll show you that too as well, is there's two types of connections you can make. There's a regular connector and there's a mobile connector. If you use both of those, you can expand that to 200 per week and get around the 100 per week limit that LinkedIn has for you. Again, you can say follow-up messages, you can do in-mails in a day. And another thing I use it for, and that they use it for this meeting too as well, is to reach out to people to invite them to events. And you have 1,000 people per 1,000 person limit that you can reach out to in a week. So you can reach out to them and invite them to their events by doing that too as well. You got
Not when I'm
maximum
broke down,
requests per
girl.
day, email integration too as well. As I talked about, you can send emails out as well.
Thank you. Bro. Why you got that hard?
Okay. See, just already covered this. Oh, and once you have your search created, you can then connect that search to what's called a campaign. And with that, you can have one thing is you can't have with one search, you can only search up to 2,500 people at a time. Okay, but that's the limit you have. But what you can do is you can always have multiple searches to one campaign. So if you have two searches, they're 2,500 apiece, then your campaign can reach out to 5,000 people. And it also keeps track of other campaigns you're running to make sure that you're not doubly going out and sending messages to multiple people. So it checks that too as well. And these are just some of the things that you can do. Like I talked about the mobile connector. You can send messages through Messenger. A lot of these things it'll depend upon, like if you're sending out messages directly to someone's DM, you have to be in your first level of contact to be able to do that. So let me do a demo and a walkthrough so you can see that. Okay. This is essentially the dashboard that shows you how you're progressing on your contacts that you have out there. This one up here is called a profile visit. What you can do is you can have it go out and check the person's profile to see if they have an email. And if they have an email, then you can send them something. If they don't, then they won't send it out to them as well. But you can also do, to save yourself some time, when you're actually doing your searches, after you get done doing a search, I'll show you that. After you're done doing a search, and this should come up in just a second, you can actually go in and tell it to only include people who have emails in your search before you assign it. So in other words, here's the search I created actually just a couple days ago, yesterday to be exact. You can go right here up in the top here and say filter by email availability, and you can say connections with emails. And so that'll show you that you have I have 2,500
Charles,
connections here that have emails. And if I did it without emails,
we can
You
there's
can see
1,619,
the demo,
801
Charles.
people on my list that don't have emails. So I would have to, what I can do is I can use this search up here to call that out and say I only want people with emails. And then assign this
We
particular
can't
search
see. We
to
can't
a
see what you're
campaign that I
showing.
want to run. Okay, but first of all, like I said,
Hey,
you have
Charles,
profile
nobody can
visits
see the
that comes
demo.
out-
Charles?
Yes,
Sorry, Charles, nobody can see the demo. We just see like one slide.
oh, okay, let me stop and reshare.
Thanks.
See it now?
Not yet.
From my side, it says it's sharing. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, let me go back to what I was just talking about. This profile visits is Expandi going out and looking at the profiles of people on LinkedIn and finding out if they match a specific criteria you set. This one is a mobile, like I told you about, you can have mobile connection request. I have two types of requests, a mobile connection request and a regular connection request. So notice that I have 15 connections request at a time. And if you looked at that over 7 days, that's 105. So I would be, if I use just one of them, I would be over the limit of the 100 that you can get, that LinkedIn allows you to get. But when you use the mobile connection in conjunction with that, you can send out another 100 requests to people to connect to as well. And here's when this shows that I did event invites. I can set it for whatever I want. Let me show you that. If you go into LinkedIn settings, it's where what I was talking about before. Where you see here, you can have the max amount of company follow invites that you can send per day, max amount of connection requests. You can put in 30 per day. And the reason I put in 30 is because I have both a mobile connection and a regular connection request going out during the same time. So you can set this to whatever granularity you want to. You can also set the maximum of follow-up per day. You can actually I'll show you that too a little bit later on. You can send a request out and then follow up once the person actually answers to that request. I won't go over the emails. Maximum of invites, I have this at 150. You can set it for this sets it for the overall for how many invites you're setting out, but within each campaign, you can toggle that too as well to whatever you want it to be. Let's see. Yeah. And over here, you can do email integration too as well. I don't know if you can do it on anything else other than Gmail. That's all I tried it on, but I'm assuming you can do it in other emails as long as you are able to set it up here through your email integration. And when you connect it to your SMTP server, you should be able to do it through other emails too as well. I forgot about that. Go back to the dashboard. Now, the one thing I want you to notice is the way I've structured this, and some of you have probably seen it from what I've actually sent out, is when you send out a connection request, you can actually, I'll show you that on the campaign. One of the connector campaigns I created that allows you to reach out and send out connection requests to them.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
Take a little while. Okay. Show you the steps. Okay.
Hey,
In the steps in your campaign, you can put in when you
Aaron?
reaching out to people to connect to them. You can put in what you
Yeah,
want
I
to
need
say
that.
within the note.
Hold on, I'm on this little thing. Let me just mute this.
you can put in what you want for a note. What I put in is, this is Charles, you're in IT. I was in IT, then started real estate for passive income. I wanted to share my building wealth with apartments and guide on hotel investing, just education. Would you like the links at a minimum? So what I do is I send this out in my request for connection with people. And once they've connected with me, and they'll either ask me for the guide or they say they don't want it, but if they want the guide, I already have a couple of lead magnets set up that talk about investing in apartments and investing in hotels, and I send that directly to them through LinkedIn. So this is really just the carrot to get people who are interested in apartment and hotel investing. What I'm doing is taking a cold lead, someone I've never met before, don't know anything about them other than just my target avatar, and finding out if they're interested in apartment investing or hotel investing. This is the what I did. Remember I showed you the search earlier? What you can do with that search is you can put in it, remember you can cull it down between emails and non-emails, but you can also search based upon other filters too as well if you haven't already filtered it enough within LinkedIn. Let me go to LinkedIn and show you what you would do. Again, if you go into LinkedIn, and this is Sales Navigator that I'm in right now. What I can do is I can go under lead filters, and it has all these different options of what I can choose to filter on to bring people to put people into a search. So what I can do is when I toggle on the most here, it says post on LinkedIn, I can change that to the criteria that I want it to be, which is wanting to find people who have posted in the last 30 days. And what this should come back with is the amount of people that my search is actually reaching out to. And right now it's up to 20 million. That's a lot more than the 2,500 that you're allowed. So you can go ahead and create other things to call it down to as well. What I normally use in addition to that is I use going to groups too as well. So one of the things here, suppose I was looking for accredited investors. So I'll type in accredited. And it'll bring up all the groups that are associated with the word that you actually put in there. Now, one thing about this is you do not have to be a member of the groups to actually search for people in the groups. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. So I can go under Credit Investor Network. And now it's searching for people who are in the group Credit Investor Network who have posted in the last 30 days. And now I'm down to 331. So I can actually go in and add others. Pick it up then. Okay, this is another one that came up. I can select that one too as well. And you'll see the number go up for the number of search results I have. So right now, if you look on the right-hand side in the upper right-hand corner, it'll show you the number of results I have for that. Now, I don't have to bring it all the way down to 2,500. I can actually do a search on this particular link that I have, but it'll only bring back 2,500 of the 4.5K results that I have. So if you look at the top here, it shows you what the link is. This is the link. Hold on. Yeah, this is the link. I messed it up. Hold on. Go back to save search. I'll show you one that I've created from the past. So I'll show you what the results look like afterwards. This is one I did, and I looked at these job titles basically C-suite, vice president, directors, and chief operating officer. And I picked these geographies, these metros, and that I wanted to search in. And I also looked at these particular industries, all the IT industries that I pulled up. And the last thing is, I looked at the last people who posted in the last 35 days, and that ended up with 3.5K results. So what I could do from then, once I've got this already created, you see this link here. This link is going to be used in Expandi to bring up the links that I want, to bring up the results that I want. So let me go into search and I'll show you how you do that. I have several in here that I've done from the past. But you go up here in the upper hand corner, it says add new search. And you would scroll down. Is that my way? You want to scroll down. Oh, there it is. Sales Navigator search. Now, remember I told you can also do a basic search. That's here too as well. You get to it from the same spot. And then this one right here says URL to LinkedIn search. So I would just go back to LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Copy that link. Then go back into Expandi and paste that in. And then I click next. And what it's going to ask me to do is it's going to ask me, do I want to assign it to a campaign? I don't have a campaign created yet. So I'll just leave that the way it is. And this will be this test for meeting with the date that's there. And once I confirm that, you'll see this pop up here. And what it's doing now is it's taking that link that I created with the 3.5K individuals that came up in the link, and it's actually going and scraping those pages and picking off the people that are in there that I can bring over. At this point, I want to stop for a second and see if anybody has any questions. I know I'm going through this pretty fast. Questions? Okay, now I'll keep going on with the demonstration. Now, what you'll see in a second here is it takes a little while, but this number that's 0 of 0 retrieve will change and show you how many people it's actually going out to reach out to get. It's going to show you more than 2,500 that are reaching out to, but it's only going to collect 2,500 of that 3.5K people that I'm reaching out to. Now, again, this is just the search that you're doing, and the search is what grabs the people from your target avatar and puts them into a search. Go back to campaigns. Now, these are the different types of campaign. These are different type of campaigns I had. I had the event invite, which I did use for tonight, and I had the 2 mobile connectors, and I had another one that was for emails, but I turned that one off. But what you want to do while that's searching is you can go to add a new campaign. And you can pick from any of these that you want, and there's different types of ways that they work. Like this first one that talks about Nitro Boost. It's going to send out a connection request, and once our request is accepted, it's going to send one follow-up email, one follow-up direct message to them, then a second follow-up direct message, then a third follow-up direct message. So you can use that format if you want, or you can do the other one on the right, which looks fairly similar as the one that I'm using right now. But there's several different ways you can go about and attack this. To be honest with you, I use the simple one. Only thing I want to do is reach out to the people who are my target avatar using the connector, and then reach out to them and talk to them in person after that. So let's go back to the search. Okay, just like I told you from before, it scraped 250 out of the 3804 that I retrieved from the list. Now it's gonna take a little while to do this, but like I said, it's only gonna collect 2,500 max of those that are there. Now, once this is done, you will be able to take that search like this one here on the bottom that I created earlier. I can go to here where it says assign all 325. Sorry about that. Assign all 2,500 to campaign. I can click that and I can choose. No, okay, here it goes. Just taking a while. I can pick from the campaigns that I want to add the search to. So what it's going to do is add those 750 people to that campaign, and then it's going to run the campaign by reaching out to the people in the manner that you set up, whether that be reach out to them through a direct message or through their connection request or however you want to do it. See, what's the other one I wanted to cover? This has been, to be straightforward, this has been very successful for me as far as reaching out to people and connecting with them. As you can see here on the very bottom, this just in the last week, I've connected with 64 people just by using this. And once I set this, I let it go and it goes off and makes the connections itself. I don't have to touch it, it just keeps doing it. And one other thing that you can do on your searches, which I forgot to mention, is remember I said your limit is 2,500. Well, there's a way that you can increase that 2,500. The way you can do it is you can set it so that whenever a new person comes into that search criteria that you put on it, you can actually automatically add them to the search. So like here, if I go under settings, set that right now. Okay, I can create, this is the search that I have. I can say I can auto reload. I can go back and look and see if there are new people every 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. I just set it for 3 or 1. Because that way it'll go out and check every single day without you having to do anything to see if any new people added up in the search. And you can assign that to a specific search that you did from earlier. So that way that search will be picked up for the campaign that you're using too as well. Okay. Go back to the demo. So what kind of things you can do? I talked about it a little bit. You can send out invites to your first level contacts automatically to register for your event. That's what I use for this event and all the other events that I put together. I use that. The other thing you can do is you can send out emails to leads to entice them into getting into a call with you. I showed you that earlier too as well by showing you that when you make a connection request, you can put things into that will entice them to reach out to you. You can also send out leads through DMs if you want to. You can reach out to them automatically. You can send out connection requests to your leads with a message to connect with you. You can also send out invites to first level contacts to follow you on your company page if you have that as well. Okay. So I've talked about this. One of the things benefits of using Expandi the LinkedIn Sales Navigator is that Expandi can run 24/7. You don't have to touch it. All you have to do is keep updating it. I had one that was running that's reaching out to people that had 1,500 in it. I just replenished it today with a new 2,500 people for it to reach out to, and it's going to reach out to 200 people a week and asking them to connect to me. Hopefully you've seen that both these are really easy to use. The only thing you have to do is go in and set what your search criteria is in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and then copy the link into Expandi, and then set up your search for have it go reach out and do the search, and then assign that search to a campaign so it can run for you. My opinion, both are relatively inexpensive for the functionality that you get, and both are time savers. The cost for Expandi is $99 per month, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if you get the core, which is all you really need, is $99 per month too as well. Are there any questions?
Yes, I had a question too. One, when you first put the link in from your LinkedIn into Expandi, I didn't see where you placed the actual link. There was a little bit of issue between your screens, what was being visible, what was shown versus what was not shown. So I didn't see that. And then my other question was more about in terms of these cold contacts that you're reaching out to, are you able to convert them to take some particular action beyond just agreeing to connect with you?
Yeah, that's why if you looked in when you make a connection request, you have the option to add a note to it. I use that option. And in that note, I put in it just the fact that I was in IT. I'm invested in IT. Now I'm doing real estate, and I have two lead magnets, two guides on apartment investing and hotel investing. So the way I find out, taking it from a cold lead to a warm lead, is seeing if they're interested in looking at the information they have on apartment and hotel investing. And if so, I set up a call with them after that to discuss both of those two things and see if they're interested in going further. So that's the way I do it. Does that help? Dr. Stephanie?
Yes, I heard you. Thank you. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'll look at that
Yeah, hold on a
as an
second.
option for
Let
sure.
me do this too as well. Let me reshare again because probably couldn't see it when I did it. Okay. Can you see my screen now? It's loading, but wait, give me a second. It'll load Expandi. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. What I did was just show you what I did. It's fairly simple. What I did was within LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Yeah. Within this is the search that I did. And the search, can you see that? And the search came back with 3.5K results. So that's after I've culled it down to saying what specific types of individuals I'm looking for. Now, once you've done that, the URL that you're going to use is the one that's right here. Can you see what I'm talking about? Okay. And so what I would do is just simply copy that once I'm done with the search. Just say copy that, and then go back to Expandi. And then within the search, I go to add new search. Okay, and then on the left-hand side, it has basic search, sales navigator. Those are the two that you're going to use. Whether if you choose not to pay the $9.99 for sales navigator and want to just do a basic search, you can do that. You just won't get the granularity that you can get with sales navigator. So either one is fine. So if you go into sales navigator, see where it says pasted link URL right here? That's where I pasted that. See that? And then what I do then is just go to next. And then what I'm not going to do it here because I've already got one running. But then I can type in the name of this search that I did. And so that search will show up in Expandi that you can use to put into a campaign. Does that make sense? And what you can also do if you've already got a campaign set up, you can assign it to a campaign that you already have too as well. You don't have to do the search and then do the and then go over and then move it over after you're done. You can assign it automatically. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, hi, Charles. Andrew here. I lost you for a moment there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. First of all, thanks for the awesome webinar, really insightful. I'm new to Sales Navigator and Expandi, but at a very basic level, if I step back, is it fair to say that you're using Sales Navigator to really scrape for leads and contacts, and then you use Expandi as a CRM kind of tool? And to twist my question around, if I use another CRM, that would replace Expandi in your end-to-end kind of flow of things?
No, because the thing is, what I do is I handle that offline on Expandi. So once I get someone who connects with me on LinkedIn, then I get their information from them then and put it into, I use MailChimp. So I put it into MailChimp with some information that I have, looking for something a little more robust, but for right now, that's what I do. Expandi is not really a CRM. The only thing it does is it's really for outreach. So you can reach out to different people based upon your target avatar, and you can reach out to them and offer them specific things you're looking for, or you can just reach out to them and ask them to connect, and they connect to you either on your personal profile or on your business profile, whichever you want.
Got it. Thank you, Charles. And I forgot to ask, from a logistics point of view, are you going to share the webinar with us?
Yes.
There's a lot of things to absorb here.
A lot to digest. It'll actually be on the YouTube
Awesome.
channel
Thanks,
for the
appreciate it.
group, and it'll be there.
You said YouTube channel. I'm not aware of that. I know I connected with you on LinkedIn. That's where I got
the thing is, what'll happen is when I send out the replay for this, the link is going to take you to YouTube with it, which has not only will have this one, but all the other presentations that we've done too as well.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Okay, you have a question?
Hi, Charles. This is John. Thank you
John.
for putting this on. This is very helpful. Well, actually, I really have two questions. One is, how many campaigns can you run at once?
Oh, as many as you
and
want.
Then the other one is, you just want one at a time?
Well, no, you
Oh,
can
as
run
many as you want, you said. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because let's show you that real quick. You see on the campaign right now, I have only 3 running right now. Okay, now let me change my answer a little bit. It's based upon the criteria you set, the limits you set on your campaigns. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so
with my
if you
limited knowledge, it makes sense.
well, here's the thing. If I go into LinkedIn settings, which I talked about, I can set how many different connection requests I can make per day. So it's only gonna send out the amount of messages based upon what you set here. That could be 1 campaign, that could be 4 campaigns. It all depends upon how many people you're reaching out to in your campaigns. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, but you won't exceed the, I think you got us up to like 200 a week.
Right. Yeah.
Using the mobile.
Right. Yeah, but you can only do 200 per week, and that would be 100 and something on the mobile and 100 something on the connector, running them both at the same time.
Yeah.
But it won't go over. Once you set this to say it only going to go out to 100 people, it's not going to go above and beyond that. And really, you want that because you don't want LinkedIn shutting down your account.
Yeah, right. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Well,
So-
then my other question is, can I set up a campaign with my existing connections in LinkedIn?
Yeah, actually I did. I'll show you that real quick.
Yeah, he'd show us that. That'd be super helpful.
Okay. When you, went back, hold on a second. Let me go back to the original one. For certain things, you're only allowed to send it out to people who are in your first level of contact. For instance, on the event invite that I have here. Hold on, take a little while to come back. But essentially, within this invite, when you do an event invite, you can only invite people who are on your first level of contact. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So what I did in
But
my search,
Can you invite is there a limit on how many you
Yes.
can invite? Theoretically,
Yeah.
could you invite all your first level contacts?
yeah, what I did, I vetted all first level contacts up to 2,500. If you wanted to do more than that, you'd have to find a
2,500
way
you
to
said?
say again.
I couldn't hear you. You said 2,500 is the limit?
Yeah, 2,500 is your limit on the contacts. Like if you see here on my first level connections right there, I did a search I did a search in LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find my first level connections. And I captured that in a search. And then after that, I assign that search to an invite campaign in Expandi.
And if you have more than 2,500?
If you have more than 2,500, you'd have to separate it between the two different searches.
Or you could just
multiple.
start, yeah, if you had 5,000, you could do two different ones.
Right, but that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Is because you have to find some way to separate those two, and you have to find a way to do it. And I haven't figured out a way to do that yet, whether it be through geography
Okay,
or occupation. I haven't figured out a way to separate them yet.
But it's doable then.
Yeah, it's doable. I just haven't figured out the secret sauce to get above 2,500 on the invites, and I've got around it on doing the reach out to people on connection requests, because I'm reaching out to a cold market. So I reach out to 2,500 based upon certain criteria, which I did it by geography. So my connection request, I was looking for people who are my target avatar within the south, the northwest. So I picked out northwest cities that are there, and I use that as a way to filter it down to 2,500 or close to that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
So that's the way I figured out to do it for reaching out to people just to do connection requests. Because I could also say, like I did, just one I just finished was one for the Southeast. I picked Atlanta, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I think I picked Florida as a whole, if I remember right. But Florida as a whole, and then specific cities where people who are in IT. The way I did it for IT is I just did a search, a Google search for where are the top places for IT professionals in the US. And I started there. So if you're searching for IT, I would suggest you do the same thing. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Yeah. So
This is very
so first
helpful.
I start off outside of this first to figure out where the hot places are for IT professionals. And then I did a search within LinkedIn on those areas. Hold it down even further by saying only people in the C-suite, VPs, and directors.
FYI, Salt Lake City is a fastly growing IT market.
Right. I actually think
Location.
I searched on that once before.
Yeah, no, they're being very successful bringing in IT.
Right. But there's multiple different ways to skin this, but the thing is I found it extremely helpful. I spend probably 20-30 minutes doing a search, and then after that I sign it to a campaign and let it go. Because I've already got it structured to how I want it set up. Nazar, is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, yes, Charles, thank you. It's excellent information. I mean, I missed out the first portion, so I'm glad that you're going to be sharing the link. And my question is, where can you scrap all of this information? Can you scrap all phone numbers and email addresses? You can import it to your own CRM. Like another speaker was asking the same thing. I couldn't really follow. Can you actually extract those and just put in your CRM and try to just work with them through your own preferred CRM?
Yeah, one of the things I did and I didn't do for this particular one is you can actually once you do your search and get the people for your search from Sales Navigator, and then once you import those in by doing a search within Expandi, you can export those out to a file, to a CSV file. Make sense?
So you still need Expandi for extracting, to take it out to from you cannot just directly do that from the Sales Navigator. You have to just come to the Expandi as well.
Right, exactly. Because there's no way to get that information directly out. The only way you can do it is by, well, I'll tell you, one of the things I do too as well, and I didn't do it for this one, is I send out messages through Eventbrite. Okay. On Eventbrite allows you to send out email campaigns to specific email addresses. So what I do is I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to call down to what I want to look for. Then I bring all that information into Expandi, export it out to a file that I can use, and then I import it into Eventbrite and then use that as my email list. Does that make sense?
I'll try to catch up. I think if I listen to your recording a couple of times, maybe I would. Sure. Would you get people's phone numbers as well, Charles, or is that just the email addresses you're getting out?
Well, you can. I haven't looked. To be honest with you, I haven't looked for phone numbers yet. I've only looked for just email addresses. I don't think it's available for you to do that. Let me look and see the search.
Yeah, I didn't see. You're right. I didn't see much of phone numbers. If anything, just that would be email addresses.
No, I didn't see
That's
anything on
very
phone
cool,
numbers
though.
in here.
Thank you very much.
Not for the search.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
But if you're looking to bring people now, I forgot to mention one other thing. Once you bring everything into Eventbrite, remember I said remember the process is do your search in LinkedIn, bring that search over into do a search in Expandi to get like these people here that I have, like 2,500 you see here. And then what I can do is go to see where it says export all as CSV. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. Once I click that,
yeah, that's it.
Once I click that, this just shows the name of the file that's going to be, but it's going to export all those people out that I have in that search. Now, what I do before I do that is, see it says 2,500. I go into where it says filter by email availability. Click it on connections with emails. And it'll further call down that list. So there's 1,699 people in my search that have emails on LinkedIn. Does that make sense?
Charles, those are all people those are people who are connected with you. Is that correct?
Connected and have emails, yes.
No.
Connected and have emails.
Yeah, you can get emails for people who are not connected to you, as well as people who are in your first level of contact.
Okay.
The only difference between the first level and anybody is on a first level contact, you have to have a first level contact to do a DM to somebody. Is at least, well, you can do it another way too through InMail, but I'm saying if you're doing a regular directed message, they're going to want to see that you have a first level connection with them to be able to send out a direct message through Expandi. But if you're doing just a broad sweep of people that you're looking for, you can get their emails from people that are not in your first level of contacts too as well. I do that all the time. But like for instance here, this particular search are people who are not in my first level of contact. So but when I remember I showed you that I called it down by saying connections with emails. And then now remember, see this number change from 2,500 to 1699 to expert to a CSV? You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Once I click that, now it's only going to send out the call down list of 1699 to a file that I can use. And then I just need to set it up to send out an Eventbrite. Now, the one piece I did left out is are you familiar with Zapier?
Yes, I do.
You are familiar with Zapier?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Using it
I don't use
often,
Zapier. I
yes.
use another product called Integrately, but it does the same thing as Zapier, but it's just cheaper. So what I do is I set up something so that when someone responds to me in Eventbrite, it automatically updates MailChimp for me. Also within Integrately, I set up an
That's very
automated
cool.
thing which goes from MailChimp to Zoom. And the reason I'm doing that is
That's
because
awesome, man. Thank you very much, Charles. One more question before I mute myself again. So you do have any limitation on 2,500? Is that because you have to be paid member, or is that just a limitation by default, or you have to just pay to get more? You can be a member for
limitation
1
set
month
by
and extract
LinkedIn.
as much as you can.
It's a limitation
Is it?
set by
Okay.
LinkedIn. Now, remember that 2,500 is per search.
Oh,
Let's
so you
do
can have
another search.
multiple of them for that 1 month of membership and take it out.
Right. You can do that, or like I said, or the thing is that you can do the search for 2,501. And like I was talking about earlier, if you're doing it, people that you don't know, like my target avatar is IT people. So what I did is I separated my list by doing different searches around different areas of the country that people are in. So that allowed me to get probably close to 10,000, 2,500, 1,200, 12,500 people on my search list. The other thing I do too as well is that like for the one other thing I just kind of a nuance to this is, remember I said I'm reaching out to my target avatar through Expandi, and I'm doing a connection request. Remember I said that?
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
So the other nuance to this is at the same time, I'm going out and reaching out to my first level of contacts. So whenever that person that accepts my invite ends up coming to my first level of contacts, they get sent an invite to my meeting.
That's another cool feature. Without mailing them, we can actually get them to actually accept. Maybe that's the way we connected as well.
Probably is.
I would say so. Yeah, no, that was very cool. Otherwise, how would I know about Charles somewhere? I'm from a little town called Toronto in Canada, and I'm just connected. So I'm very
I
happy.
know it well. I used to live in Rochester, New York.
Small world. Thank you very much, Charles. I really appreciate it. Very nice.
Oh, no problem. Are there any other questions?
Charles, is this your primary source of generating leads for your business?
Only leads. All my leads come through LinkedIn. I do post on
That's cool.
Facebook and also on LinkedIn. With Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But I spend the majority of my time on LinkedIn because I have this tool that I can use to pull multiple different people based upon my criteria, and I can't do that really well on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, this has been very, very helpful.
Yeah, one
Charles,
thing
I
is,
do have a question.
go ahead.
I received an email from LinkedIn that one of my webinars that I post through my site received a high number of impressions. in terms of the analytics. And what I would like to know is to go back and grab those people that seem to be interested in that particular content. Do you know of
You can do
a
that.
way of how I might be able to do that to target those people?
Now, if I remember right through Expandy, let me take a look and see if I can find it. Through your campaigns. They just updated this on me in the middle of my right before my presentation was about to go on. The leads. What's your events? And more leads. You see it's here. Hold on a second. Okay, this is probably what I was looking for. And I thought they used to have it where you could pull people. I know I can go in and search people who accepted the invite to my meetings. I know I can definitely do that, but I thought there's also something that you could do too as well, based upon oh, here it is. This one here on the builder. If someone
Okay.
likes a post, you can send out a connection request. And once it's accepted, you can send up a follow-up message.
Got it. Okay.
I've never used it. I've been sticking to the other strategies that have been going on, but I haven't looked at these lately. These came out about 2 weeks ago, the new ones.
Okay. Great. Thank
Oh,
you.
the other thing too as well. I suggest that you all go out and get LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Expandi. Both, I think LinkedIn gives you a month, I think it free, and Expandi gives you like 2 weeks, if I remember right. So you can try them out and see if it'll work for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Do you live in Charlotte, Charles?
Actually, in Beaufort, South Carolina. You know where that is?
Oh, you live in Beaufort? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm from Columbia. I was gonna tell you, I was gonna invite you to lunch next time I fly through Charlotte, but I'll drive down to Beaufort.
Sure.
Charles, I can go for another question if you don't mind.
Sure.
Where would you normally get your most, I guess, updated information on LinkedIn? Is there anywhere that you hang out to find those information? Like, is there any forum or somewhere that you're actually hanging out to learn, or just by try and error, or you're just learning them by yourself?
Just by trial and error. I mean, I knew going in what I wanted to do. So I looked to see if Expandi could do it, and then I just put it into action. So, like I said, I already had the lead magnets. I was trying to figure out a way to get these to people who would actually want to look at the information, and this was the easiest way I found to do it. Because like I said, you could, like in Facebook, you can get around. You can do, like, if you're looking for accredited investors, you can look for the highest paid, or the wealthiest zip codes in the areas you're looking for. And in Facebook, you can put in zip codes to reach out to people on their ads. But I tried it, and I didn't get a whole lot of results from doing it, even though I had it called down to a smaller subset of people and had it running multiple times. And you can actually capture information on Facebook and put that directly. I think it's directly into MailChimp if you wanted to as well. But I didn't worry about it. I was worried about the first part of it, by getting people to react to it and reach out to me, and I didn't find it work very well for me.
To prefer LinkedIn.
Yep. Any other questions before we go into
Awesome.
breakout rooms? Okay, let me stop the presentation.